Russia recognizing Somaliland would be a major geopolitical shift, with deep consequences for the Horn of Africa and beyond. Such a move would immediately attract global attention because Somaliland has operated as a de facto state for more than 3 decades without international recognition. If Russia took this step, it would signal a clear challenge to the existing international position that views Somaliland as part of Somalia. At the political level, Russia's recognition would strongly affect relations with Somalia. The Somali government would almost certainly reject the decision and consider it a violation of its territorial integrity. This could lead to diplomatic tensions not only between Somalia and Russia, but also between Russia and African states that support Somalia's unity. Russia would likely argue that Somaliland meets the criteria of statehood, including a defined territory, a permanent population, functioning institutions, and relative stability compared to southern Somalia. Russia has a history of recognizing or supporting breakaway regions when it serves its strategic interests. Examples from Eastern Europe and the Caucasus show that Moscow often uses recognition as a political tool to expand influence and challenge Western-led international norms. Recognizing Somaliland could fit into this broader strategy, especially as Russia seeks to strengthen its presence in Africa amid growing competition with the United States, Europe, and China. Economically, Russia's recognition could open new opportunities for Somaliland. Formal diplomatic ties would allow trade agreements, investment deals, and cooperation in key sectors. Somaliland has untapped natural resources including oil, gas, and minerals, which could attract Russian energy and mining companies. Russia might see Somaliland as a new frontier for resource exploration, particularly at a time when it is seeking alternative markets and partners due to sanctions and strained relations with the West. Somaliland's strategic location would be another major factor. Positioned near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, Somaliland sits close to one of the world's most important maritime choke points linking the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean. Russia could view recognition as a gateway to securing logistical access, port facilities, or even a long-term naval presence. This would enhance Russia's ability to project power in the Red Sea region and protect its shipping and strategic interests. Such a development would also have serious security implications. The Horn of Africa is already a sensitive and fragile region. Russia's involvement could increase tensions between Somaliland and Somalia, potentially hardening positions on both sides. Somalia might intensify diplomatic pressure through the African Union and the United Nations, while Somaliland could feel emboldened to push harder for wider international recognition. Regional actors would closely watch Russia's move. Ethiopia, which has economic and security interests in Somaliland, might quietly welcome recognition if it improves access to ports and trade routes. Eritrea, already aligned with Russia in some international forums, could also see benefits in a stronger Russian role in the region. At the same time, neighboring countries would worry about militarization and shifts in the regional balance of power. On the global stage, Western countries would likely oppose Russia's recognition of Somaliland. The United States and European Union have long supported Somalia's territorial integrity and would fear that recognition could set a precedent for other separatist movements worldwide. They would also be concerned about Russia gaining a strategic foothold near vital shipping lanes and expanding its influence in Africa. China's reaction would be more complex. China has strong ties with Somalia and major investments across Africa, but it also cooperates closely with Russia on many global issues. Beijing might choose a cautious approach, avoiding open support while watching whether the situation creates new economic opportunities. If Somaliland gains more international legitimacy, China could later engage economically without taking a clear political stance. The African Union would face a difficult test. Its long-standing principle is to preserve colonial-era borders and discourage secession. Russia's recognition would challenge this principle and could expose divisions within the AU. Some African states might sympathize with Somaliland's stability and democratic record, while others would firmly oppose any recognition that threatens national unity elsewhere on the continent. In the long term, Russia recognizing Somaliland could encourage other global powers to reconsider their positions. Even if immediate recognition by others does not follow, the move would break a long-standing diplomatic taboo. It would strengthen Somaliland's argument that international recognition is possible and that its case deserves serious reconsideration. In conclusion, Russia's recognition of Somaliland would not be a symbolic act. It would reshape political relations, open economic doors, alter security calculations, and trigger strong regional and global reactions. The Horn of Africa would enter a new phase of geopolitical competition, with Somaliland at the center of a much larger strategic game. Whether this leads to greater stability or increased tension would depend on how regional actors and the international community respond to Russia's bold decision.